Hi everybody, this is my 14-gallon tank with my Vietnamese white clouds in it. I thought I'd do a little video about Vietnamese white clouds, how they're a different species from the normal white cloud mountain minnow, how hardy they are, how they are a cold water fish, and show you the three generations, actually 3 or 4 generations that are in here now, and a little bit of what I do to take care of them, which is truthfully not much. White clouds are very hardy fish. Uh, they're a great beginner fish. They need very little care. I am of the essence that the less you touch the tank, the better off you are. And you'll see as I pan back here, take a look at the entire tank, and my tank is very overgrown and very much very overgrown and very unkept, and there's a reason for that. So you'll see in the back there I have a fake plant that sits on the bottom of the tank. I actually have a rock on it to keep it down there. There's some Anubias barteri that looks like it could be in better shape with that dead leaf. There's some ramshorn snails in here. There's algae. It's very overgrown. And I just let everything go. And you'll see there is another couple of plants in here. This is actually Anubias hastifolia. Right there. And you'll see look, there are a few different plants in here. And I let it go on purpose. White clouds are a egg scattering fish, and that is the reason why. I want them to scatter their eggs, and I want them to reproduce in this tank. And you'll see that's a female right there, and she's looking for a spot to lay her eggs. So she will continue to kind of hang out in here, and hopefully a male will chase her in there, and they will she'll drop her eggs, and he will fertilize them, and they scatter them all over. So one of the things that I did in this tank is, like I said, that is a fake plant on the bottom, and it covers that whole corner of the tank, and that's the exact reason why. The parents can't get at the eggs, and it gives them a great chance to get to the surface, take their first breath, and live, just basically live. So, like I said, very easy fish. You'll see I have a big, gigantic gold mystery snail in there. There's ramshorn snails in there, and that's about it. This tank is not heated. It's the temperature of the basement. And you'll see there's blackbeard algae in here. I just leave it, and if I take that filter out, I'll clean it. But I don't touch this tank. And you'll see the babies in there. See if I can zoom in on them. They look like little baby neons. And you'll see there were more. You'll see a couple of subadults back there, and the adults are up here swimming. I don't know if I can get one of the males to display for us, but the Vietnamese white cloud has a black bar on the side of it, and a red nose, and they are called the royal white cloud or Vietnamese white cloud. They are a different species than your regular white cloud mountain minnow. Just a very easy fish to keep, and I highly recommend them. If you want to start a tank and you don't want to put a lot into it, and this is a 14-gallon tank with a sponge filter and some plants in it, and that's about it. I feed them flake food. I keep them well fed. Is a key to getting them to breed. You know, You'll see there's not a lot of flow in this tank. That's another thing. They come from rivers, and they come from fast flowing rivers in Vietnam and Burma and Myanmar, but I don't do that, never have. When I first started breeding white clouds, I had this exact tank. I filled it with guppy grass. I don't even think I had a filter in it, and I just let it go until I got my babies. And they will reproduce, and you'll see there's a couple in there now. I should have fed them for you, but there are more. There's at least a dozen babies floating around in here. I'll bet if we come down here, look over here in the bottom. I don't see any. Usually you have some babies floating around down here, or you'll get some of the sub-adults. Well, yeah, there we go. I can see a couple swimming around there, and they will just hang out and until they get more confident or a little bigger, they will take off towards the top of the tank. So as they get bigger and they get that sheen to them, or that iridescence, that's what they do. But that's why all the plant cover is in here, to give them a chance to survive. And if you look in the back, I am sure, if I zoom in there, give it a minute, we can see some babies floating around in there. Oops. Of course, at the moment I can't, but you'll see little dots or dashes jumping across the top of the water there. There we go, right there. You can see them kind of darting back and forth there. They'll hang out in the weeds, like I said, and just pick and forage at whatever they can till they get a little bigger, and then they pop out into the free swimming part of the tank. And that's why I leave the algae. That's why I leave all the plants in here, and I can't think of the name of that bushy plant. The other one is dwarf, not hairgrass. I can't remember the name of the plant, but dwarf Sagittaria. I'm sorry. I let mine float in there, and it'll get hooked in the roots, and it will propagate by itself. I've never planted it. You can, and it'll propagate. It'll propagate like Vallisneria. You can see there's some snail eggs on there. There's probably biofilm, and there's probably some microscopic creatures hanging out in that mess of plants that I have in this tank. And that is my food for the babies. They have plenty of food, plenty of bacteria and things to hang out. I thought if I came in this corner, nobody's over there, I thought maybe we could get a shot of some baby fish there. But they are happily hanging out in all these plants. Like I said, there's a couple right there. I see three, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's my future Vietnamese white clouds. They're not a big money fish, but they are fun to breed. I think they're very pretty, and I would absolutely 1000% encourage you to go to your local store. They're not very expensive, and you could see if he'll flare for us. That's a male. They have the longer fins. They're much showier. Got a little red nose. you're looking for that black bar on the side. That tells you that they are Vietnamese white cloud. And a lot of times you can go to your local store and they will have a tank of white clouds and they don't know the difference. So you'll get the Vietnamese ones and you could tell the adults, they have that red spot on their nose where normal white clouds do not. Come on, give us a little show there. There we go. And they're really pretty when they pop that fin out and they're displaying for the girls. I was really hoping he would do it too. But there's some boys in there, boys and girls. And like I said, I just let this tank go. It probably could use a cleaning, but the problem is those eggs could be all over. They could be all over the bottom of the gravel, and that gravel is dirty. I do water changes on the tank. I just don't get in there and play with the gravel. I probably should, but I'm not gonna tempt fate. I really had a hard time getting these guys to breed for me. So I just let it go. They did their thing together, and feeding is very important. They'll take any kind of food, but I stick with flake. Make sure it's nice and ground up. You want to give them, if you do give them any kind of pellets or anything like that, you want to give them the nano pellets, the Magic Small fish food that Aquarium Co-op has, anything like that, and that will keep them going. So I hope this helped and showed you what this was all about, and hopefully next time you want fish in your aquarium, you pick Vietnamese white clouds or even regular white clouds. You don't get started there until you find something different. So everybody have a good day, and please like this video.